Have you ever shared a feeling about stepfamily life with your partner, something that was really bothering you, only to be told, but you're the adult? Last week, I put that question to my Instagram community and 92% of you said yes. So this episode is for anyone who's ever been told, but you're the adult. Hi everyone, and welcome back to Stepmum Space Listener Questions with me, Katie Sell, where each week I take one of your questions and we talk it through here, not just to reassure you, but to help you understand what might actually be going on underneath. Names are anonymised, but the feelings are very real. This week's question actually comes from all of you, because when 92% of people say yes to the same thing, it's not a question anymore. It's a pattern worth looking at properly. But you're the adult. I want to start with what that phrase is actually doing, because on the surface, it sounds reasonable, doesn't it? Of course you're the adult. Of course you have more maturity than a 9-year-old. Nobody's arguing with that. But that's not really what's being said here. What's actually being said is, absorb this. Don't react to it. Be easier to manage than the child is, because if you push back, someone is going to have to deal with it. And that someone would rather it wasn't them. You're the adult is what gets said when a child has been rude to you, dismissive of you, or done something they shouldn't. And the person who should be saying something to that child has decided that the easier move is to manage you instead. And I want to share something here because I see this a lot in the women I work with. It's not just that that phrase is frustrating, it's what it tells you about where you sit in the hierarchy of whose comfort matters. The child's comfort matters, your partner's comfort matters, because addressing the behaviour would be uncomfortable for him. And your comfort? Well, your comfort is the thing that gets adjusted when everything else needs protecting. And once you've been told you're the adult, often enough, you start preempting it. You don't raise things because you already know what's coming. You absorb more than you should because the alternative is being told again that you're overreacting. And slowly, without really noticing it happening, you stop asking for what you need at all. Which looks from the outside like everything's fine. But from the inside, it's a very different story. And here's what happens next, right? Because this is the part that tends to catch people off guard. When you stop raising things, your partner adjusts to a version of you that doesn't need much. Not because he's made a calculated decision, just because that's what he's seeing. You seem fine. Things seem manageable. And so the bar for what counts as a problem shifts, quietly, without either of you really noticing. And then something breaks through, something you can't absorb. And when you raise it, it lands as an overreaction. Because from where he's standing, things have been fine. He doesn't have the context of everything you've been quietly carrying. He's only seeing the moment in front of him. So now you're not just dealing with the original thing, you're dealing with feeling like you're too much on top of it. And what an exhausting place that is to keep finding yourself. What also tends to happen over time, and I see this a lot, is that the relationship starts to reorganize itself around the children in a way that slowly edges you out. Not suddenly, just gradually. His attention goes to managing their feelings and your energy goes to managing yours. And the two of you stop really meeting in the middle because there's always something else that needs handling first. You might find you can't even point to one specific thing that's wrong. It's kind of like a slow drift, a growing sense that you're sharing a house and a life with someone, but not really being seen by them, not properly. That drift doesn't reverse itself alone. It needs a conversation, usually more than one. Now, I want to be fair to the dads here, your partners, because this isn't always coming from a bad place. A lot of the time, it's coming from a man who genuinely doesn't know what else to do. He loves his kids. He loves you. When those two things come into conflict, he freezes. And "you're the adult" is what comes out of that freeze. It doesn't make it okay, but it does mean it's worth having a different conversation to the one you've been having. Because the conversation most couples have about this goes something like this. You raise it when you're already frustrated. He gets defensive. Nothing changes. You feel unheard. And repeat. That cycle doesn't break itself. What breaks it is getting clear before the moment on what you actually need. Not, "I need you to back me up," in general. That's too vague for most people to do anything with. But specifically, when your child does X, I need you to do Y. And be clear about when that needs to happen. Not afterwards, not a general chat about it later. In the moment. That's a concrete ask. It's harder to deflect than a general complaint. And it gives him something he can actually do. But here's what I also want to say, right? Even when you have that conversation, even when he understands and he means it, there will still be moments when he doesn't do it. Because making parenting decisions under pressure, in the moment, with his child right in front of him, is hard. And his instinct to protect his relationship with his child is strong. So the other piece of this is knowing what you do when he doesn't step in. Not to punish him for it, but because you need something for yourself in that moment. A way of not absorbing it that isn't dependent on him getting it right every time. And that part, knowing what you actually need and how to ask for it, as well as how to get it, that's the deeper work. It's not about being more resilient. It's about being clearer on where you end and everyone else's comfort begins. One more thing before I go. When I was thinking about this episode, I kept coming back to how many of you will have listened to everything I've said and thought, yes, I understand all that, but in the moment I just go blank. Or I say something I regret, or I say nothing at all and sit with it afterwards. That's not a you problem, okay? That's a preparation problem. Because when your nervous system is activated, when something's just been said that stings, that part of your brain that forms calm, clear, measured responses tends to go offline, which is a shame because it's exactly when you need it most. So I've put together something practical. It's called What to Say When, Scripts for Stepmums, and it covers the hardest moments in stepfamily life. It includes a full section on exactly this, what to say when you're told, but you're the adult. What to say to yourself in the moment, what to say to your partner right then, and how to have the calmer conversation afterwards when you're both ready for it. Now, it's not about having perfect rehearsed lines, but it's about having something to reach for when your brain goes utterly blank. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if you want to go further, this is the work we do in the Stepmum Reset. 2 sessions in a small group where we look at exactly this. Your values, what you actually need, and what's been quietly getting in the way. You can find out more at stepmumspace.com/stepmumreset, and I'll pop the link in the show notes. I'll be back soon with another new episode. Till then, take care. And if you know you need support, whether that's for you on your own or you and your partner together, but you're not sure yet what's right, book a free clarity call with me. It's a 15-minute chat about what's going on and whether I can help. The link is in the show notes or at stepmumspace.com/clarity.